Hello everyone and welcome back to Callsign Charlie Models for part 3 of the Tamiya Mosquito FB Mark 6 build, and we are continuing on with the engines, doing a little bit of a combination between the Edward engine set and also the Tamiya set. So I'm using the engine as the base for this, and then I'm going in and adding some of the smaller parts from Edward just to kind of liven this engine up. Now I'm not doing it to the other one because that one is going to be covered up by the engine cowlings, but this one right here is going to be opened up. And as you can see, I'm adding in some of the cabling that's going in there, going around the side. I still need to paint some of this, but it's there right now. And then I added the top spark plug wires right there. Now in part 2, I finished up doing the spark plug wires on the underside right here. As you can see, getting all those done took a lot of work to get that done, a lot of little drilling and all that to go in. So for the wiring, I am using lead wire from USA right here. This is the 0.2 bag, and I have the 0.4 somewhere around here, but I just have the little lead wire out here right now. And that's what I've been using for the lead wiring. So pretty much the engine is done with the cabling and everything going on. I just need to go in and paint some of that up next. And then what we've started doing is some of the framing right here, adding in a couple of the Edward parts right here, as you can see, and that's as far as I've gotten. So what I'm going to do up next is I am actually going to go back to the instructions. We're going to start assembling this part right here. Then we have some cabling to add to this firewall right here, getting that done, and then we'll just keep on moving forward, back and forth between the kit parts and the Edward set, so we can really spruce this set up. We're going to get this one done first, because this is going to be the most complex one. I think the other one that's just going to be straight out of the box is just going to fall together. I'm not going to really have any issues with that one. I could knock that one out first and be done with it. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, that might be a good idea to go with the kit one first, so I can see where I'm going to have room and everything to mess with wiring and adding in parts and everything. So I think that's what I might do after lunch, is go ahead and get that one all together, so that way I can really concentrate on this one moving forward and getting this one all done. So that's where we're standing. I'm gonna go eat lunch right now, and then I'll be back at the bench to actually do the kit one, and I'll probably do that one on camera. I'm gonna go ahead. I haven't done any of the clear coats. Actually, I figured out, or I remembered that I do need to do a clear coat on at least one piece, because one piece gets decals on there. So we'll have to see on how I'm going to move forward. As you can see, I'm a little bit back and forth on this because I really don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to get it done. And so I'm going to eat lunch, and I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, got a little bit more done on the right engine right here. Now this engine is a mix of the kit parts and also the Edward engine set. So this one is going to be fully detailed. As you can see, adding in all the wiring. You can see some of the wiring going in, and then some of the plumbing from the kit. And then also I'm adding plumbing from the Edward set as well, just to really liven this up. As you can see right there, it is really starting to come together very nicely on this. And a lot of the cable, you can't really see that well on camera because it's also black alongside of the engine. But we got all the framing in and everything done on that. Then moving forward with the Edward instructions right here, we just finished off adding in these parts right here. And then moving on, I'm going to be starting on this piece right here. Now this support arm, I'm using the kit arm, but I'm also going to add in all these extra boxes and everything on there as well. So that's what we're going to be doing with that, and then also adding in this little piece right in here. Then adding in some more of the plumbing. As you can see right here, this is going to be a kit part, and then adding in all the wiring and everything going on there as well. So again, a lot to make this a very busy set. So with this, not really much going on with this step, just adding this little cable right here, and then also adding this box right here, and then we're going to work on the bottom engine cowling right here. I am using the Edward ones for at least this side, and I'm hoping to use them for the other side as well, depending on how well they fit. You're not really going to be able to see the inside of them, but just going by what the Edward set looks like, you can see the inside of the engine cowlings right there look very nice. You can't really see all the bolt detail on camera, but it's there. Then on the reverse side, we do have some very nice rivet detail and everything going on this side as well. So I'm really hoping that I can get both of these to work for the actual fuselage on the kit, but I am going to save the kit parts until I am sure that I can get this to fit good on the actual fuselage. So that's where we're standing with the actual engine right now, with this going for the full detail on this one, getting this one done, and then we're going to do a quick assembly on the other one, which is straight out of the box. No frills to that one because it's going to be covered up by the engine cowling, so I'm not really worried about that one. But what I am looking forward to doing is getting a side-by-side look at how this engine is going to look versus the straight up out of the box engine. So that's where we're standing right now. I'm going to go ahead and close up shop for the night, and tomorrow I'm going to start tackling all the other parts to this engine, and hopefully possibly finish this engine possibly tomorrow or Friday, so we can get done with the other one. The other one's not going to take more than a couple hours to do at that. So that's where we're standing. I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, back with the engines, and the hybrid Tamiya / Edward engine is all done. So as you can see here, it's all looking really good. I'm really happy with how this turned out with the engine side, and on the underside you can see, hopefully you can see all the wiring and everything that's going into this, and I mean everything just looks really nice. And I'm going to start on the actual kit engine where I'm just doing the kit parts. The other one is going to be covered up, so I'm not worried about all the plumbing and wiring and all that stuff going into that kit. So that one's going to be straight out of the box, and I cannot wait to do a side-by-side comparison between the two, because of all the extra plumbing and everything that went onto this one, as you can see. So this is really nice. I do have a few more parts to add, like the nacelle areas right here. Those are done. Those are going to go in right along here somewhere, something like that, or farther up here. We'll have to see. We'll have to look at the instructions on how everything goes. But the hybrid engine between the Edward and the Tamiya parts are all done, and I think for the most part it looks like an Edward engine, and it also looks like a Tamiya engine. So I think I did what I was looking to do. With the Edward exhaust pipes, I did have to shave down the bottom a good bit, and then also cut off the very end of this last exhaust stack back here, just to make it fit. But as you can see, it fits really well, and it looks... these came down for some reason, so I'm gonna have to fix this because those are not in line with the other exhaust. So we're gonna go ahead and fix those real quick. Hopefully I can break the super glue off right there, get these lined up, and then re-glue them in place. So that's how they're gonna look. That's how they look when they're in the right alignment. So again, I'm really happy with all this. Now I get to clear coat it and start some weathering on it, and then we also have this oil tank, if I can find it. somewhere around here. Oh, there's an oil, oh, there it is. We have this oil tank right here. There's going to be some decals going on this, and then that's going to go onto the back side of here, like so. Once I can get that to fit in, hopefully, maybe I have to remove this support piece right here. That's what it's looking. And then that's going to go on, and then the nacelle covers will go, or the landing gear area will go on. Also with the Edward kit, I am using the engine cowlings. So as you can see right here, this one's done. I still have the other side to do. I'm going to do that when I'm doing the other engine right there. But you can see the difference in detail between what is in the kit part and what is in the Edward part. So that's where we're standing right now. I'm going to go ahead and break for lunch, and then we're going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the other engine. Might do that one on camera, so we'll have to see. But that's where we're standing right now with it. I'm going to get this glued back into place right quick. Get some super glue, toothpick. I'm just going to drop some glue right on the top edge right here. I'm not worried about the glue showing because I still have to hit it with the clear coats and matte coats and weathering and all that stuff. So that's going to be covered up, and it's not going to be really visible on that once I hit it with all the coats. So I'm just making sure that I'm gluing this into place right there, just perfect. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to break for lunch, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to hit up or start the other engine. So I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, we're back, and both engines for the Mosquito are now done. So on the right we have the hybrid between the Edward and Tamiya, and then also we have on the left the Tamiya kit straight out of the box, with the exception of the exhaust. I did use exhaust from Edward on both of them, but on the right side we have the Edward that has a mix of the kit plumbing and also the Edward plumbing, and then some of the using the instructions for all the cabling and everything that goes on with this one. And as you can see, we'll zoom in and you can see all the extra detail that's on that with the exhaust all done. And then on the kit one, you can see just out of the box it looks really nice. There's no issues with this one. Like I said, straight out of the box looks absolutely gorgeous. But you look at the difference between the two, if I can get them both in camera right here, you can see the difference between how busy this one looks versus this one. On the top detail right here, you can see all the spark plug wires and everything on this one, and then on this one there's nothing there. So this one is going to be all covered up by the cowling, so I'm not worried about this one, and this one is going to be left open. And then also with the, speaking of engine cowlings, you see the difference. Pull out two of the same ones right here. You can see the difference hopefully with the panel rivet detail and panel line detail that's in that one. Then also on the reverse side as well, the framing detail, and also there are some the reverse side of the rivets on there as well. Then we pull out the kit one. The kit one looks nice as well. You do have some panel lines and such going on there. There's no rivet detail, just a little bit of rivet detail right along here. But on the reverse side, again, it's just panel lines, and also we do have a lot of ejector pin marks on there as well. So this one really wouldn't be a huge deal for the ejector pin marks on the inside if I was using this to close up this engine. But because I'm using this one and I'm using the other ones for the opened cowlings, I'm going to just keep them all the same. So what's up next for this is I am going to clear coat everything. I do have some decals to go onto this piece right here, and then after that I'm going to start weathering the engine. I'm not going to worry about weathering this engine, or nope, this engine. because this one's going to be all covered up. But what I am going to be weathering for it is the landing gear section that's back here. Getting that a little bit weathered up. Not much going on to that one, but that one's going to get done as well. So I'm going to get off camera. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the clear coat, so that way I can go ahead with the decal and the weathering, and then I'll be right back when all of that is done. So I'll see you in a second. And we're back, and we got all the engines done and mounted right here. As you can see, both engines looking absolutely great. Love the Tamiya stuff, love the Edward stuff. Everything came out really nice. I'm really happy with how everything came out on both engines. Even the straight out of the box engine looks very nice as well. Also, what got done on this part was the wings. Got all the wings. I literally just finished putting all of this together right here, so that is looking really nice as well. For the fuel tanks, they have you mix a bunch of different colors, but instead of that I use the MRP red oxide primer for these, and that comes out absolutely great as well. So really happy with how everything is turning out so far. As you can see, the front ends of the engine bays right there, and then this is going to be the aft portion of the cockpit right here. So all that is done. So up next, what we're going to be working on is getting the landing gear all done, getting those attached. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to paint all of this, but I am not going to attach it to the model because it does come with a nice little jig right here to keep the landing gear lined up. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. We'll see how far we get. This is actually the end of part 3 for the Mosquito. It is Mozzie Monday, so that's the end of part 3. Like I said, for part 4 we're going to be working on the landing gear and hopefully getting the engine nacelles attached to the wings right here. So that is the primary goal for part 4 of the Mosquito. But I want to thank everybody for watching and staying tuned, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below, and also hit the bell button for notifications of when I post future content like part 4 to the Tamiya Mosquito. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, stay frosty, and happy modeling.